Welcome to Authentic Influence Live. This is Anthony Chancellor, and we're doing something really special today because if you look behind me, there's some random people standing there. They are not strangers. They're actually mammoth statues, which are like 3 times my height. And I'm broadcasting live from the University of California in San Francisco. So my wife and I arrived this morning, and I frantically tried to find somewhere to do this podcast interview because the two ladies I'm about to bring on are tremendous humans. I'm talking about Jennie Wright and Alyson Lex from systemtothrive.com. These are two industry experts and best friends who have joined forces to be the change that we want to see in the marketing world. They're all about not performative. So what they say is not performative transparency, not hit you over the head authenticity, just real people serving real people who want to serve real people. Okay, so I'm going to bring them both onto the show. We're talking about how to create, let me just get this right. It's how to create fast cash wins with your business. Let's bring them both on the show now. And we're going to say hello, Jennie and Alyson. Alyson.
Yeah, hi guys.
Hey, how's it going? Oh my gosh, I really need to put my makeup on today. Oh man.
Real problems. I didn't do my makeup either,
Right?
Jennie, so don't feel alone. Just a bit of background. How did the two of you connect? Where did you meet?
Oh my gosh. Alyson, you tell it better than me. You go for it.
We met in a Facebook group. We connected, I guess, in the thread, and then we started chatting, and Jennie tried to get me to hire her as my assistant or my VA or my OBM or something along those lines. I forget. And I said no. And apparently, I just found this out maybe about a year ago. She thought, okay, well, she seems like a cool enough person, and she knows a lot of people, so I'm going to be friends with her. And she tried to use me for my connections. But
it makes me sound so shallow, but no.
I am irresistibly lovable. So I won her over into best friendom.
She persisted. So yeah, no, Alyson and I did meet that Facebook group. I totally asked her to hire me if she needed help with as a VA. And then I just totally clicked with her and we had a really great time. And then when the pandemic hit, we'd been friends for 5 or so years. And when that hit, kind of things went to, the crapper as they did for a lot of people. And we kind of joined forces, not only to keep our own mental sanity, but to keep to just keep our moods buoyant, because it was really tough. For a lot of people, but it was definitely tough on the service side of being able to help people. People were just not spending money. They weren't doing anything. It was frozen. So we created the podcast together. We created System to Thrive. And here we are, almost 2.5 years on, and we're still going. So I'm really lucky to have a friend like Alyson.
Definitely are. And I just want to reflect back on what you said about people, businesses, and people behind the businesses struggling throughout the pandemic. I've spoken to countless entrepreneurs, as I'm sure you both have, just around how tough that was. Now, even though there are some businesses that fared up better than others, I think what you both do are tremendous because you focus on the strategy of things and you're focusing on, okay, at a high level, before we get into the tactics, okay, how do we actually sustain a business, right? Like, how do we grow one? How do we launch one? And then how do we sustain? And that's what really we're going to talk about here today. Now, I want to kick off with just a quick question for you is, what's a key philosophy or a mindset that drives how you approach marketing and sales?
Alyson, you go for it.
Okay. I know I speak at least partially for Jennie with this, but the relationship that you have with your person freaking matters. Like, people want to feel seen. They want to feel taken care of. They want to feel appreciated for who they are and what they bring to your table, not just what you bring to theirs. And they want to feel like more than just some faceless number in a spreadsheet. And how you act outwardly makes or breaks that trust. And I've said for a number of years, I've talked about this concept of online Mayberry, where if you think about, Mayberry and the Andy Griffith Show, everybody knew everybody. And that's how people want to feel. They don't want to feel just that you can solve their problem, but that you understand them and see them as a person, an individual.
Is there anything you want to add to that, Jenny? Thanks, Alyson.
Easily, I think I could add that, the being singing part is such a big deal with what Alyson said. In addition, I think it's coming at things with transparency and also being really frank. Alyson and I are really clear when we're coming and we're speaking to people, or we're on our own podcast, or we're talking to potential clients. We're just that clarity of, hey, look, I know you want to get to the stratosphere with your program, product, or service. We get it. Most people do. But here's the reality of what it looks like to get there. We don't do anybody any favors by telling them that they're a special unicorn and they're going to get there without having to jump through some of the hoops that everybody has to grow their list, engage their audience, and sell their program, product, or service. These are the things that just have to be done. And it's just a part of doing business. And I think we try to have that authenticity so that we're overcoming a lot of the, I think, spammy and scammy marketing that exists out there that tell people, hey, all you have to do is this one little thing and you're golden, you'll make hand over fist. It'll be $500,000 in your first year. That drives us nuts. So we're always trying to make sure that we're having that honest, open communication with people and sharing what it really is like behind the scenes to grow a business.
I just love that piece around the scammy messaging. I don't love scammy messaging, but it's what you said, Jenny, about promises that are really fast cash. Let's get there. And I know the title of this episode is fast cash, but I understand, and we're going to delve into what that actually means. What does that look like? So based on what you've both said and the philosophy that you apply to how you do business, and it's all about relationships and developing real honest interaction with your clients and people that you interview, people that interact with. What do you feel is really holding business owners back when it comes to generating real results in their businesses?
Well, I'll start this time. And because Alyson and I are on the same wavelength, I just looked at her and I knew her and I actually agreed. One of the biggest things is you can make it to fast cash. You can absolutely create fast cash in your business, but the way to do that is through planning. And the planning is the piece that comes before all the action, right? So you can get to fast cash, but you have to have all your ducks in a row in the background to kind of make that happen. You have to have good copy. You have to have a really good landing page. You have to spend the time on creating a really good opt-in video. Slapping things together used to work. When Alyson and I first started, we used to see the ugliest pages in the world with the crappiest copy that we've ever seen or read, and they would convert. It was insane. But everybody is so much more discerning now, and they really, they're bombarded by so much that they actually are very choosy on what they're doing and what they're, right? They're so choosy on it that it's so important that your stuff, what you do, counts. Am I on the same wave? We're on the same wavelength, right, Alyson?
Yeah, I literally was just going to say that people are choosy. And, so I have a story that I want to share about, actually, it's the origin of System to Thrive, if I might,
Yeah, absolutely.
So the pandemic, hit, everything shut down. And I messaged Jenny. I was like, we need to do a webinar. Our people don't know what to do. We need to do a webinar.
Please tell them the time of day you messaged me.
At 2:30 in the morning. And I said, I was laying in bed on my phone, not able to sleep. And I said, this is what the webinar is going to be. And I wrote the whole webinar with my thumbs. And then I wrote the opt-in page with my thumbs in Facebook Messenger. And then I was like, oh, let's do this next week. So, Jenny was not really a big fan of that idea, but I'm a very throw stuff at the wall and see what happens. And she allowed herself to be steamrolled in this instance. And so we set this webinar up, and I think it was maybe the next day, she's like, well, what are we going to offer? And we had attended another webinar in a totally different industry the week before, and they did something really cool. And I said, well, let's do this. And what they had done was a pay what you can model. And then they had a downloadable product, so it wasn't an issue for them to do that. But I said, let's offer strategy calls, pay what you can. It can be $0, it can be $200. I don't care. Let's just get them on the phone. And we'll be fully transparent, and we'll tell them on the webinar, if it's a good fit, we'll talk about how we might be able to help you implement the plan we've put together. And if it's not, at least you have an amazing plan. And we sold, how many of those calls did we sell, Jenny, off of that webinar? 30?
2 dozen,
Yeah.
2, 3 dozen. Yep.
And we closed in business using authenticity and transparency over $30,000
On that one webinar.
On one webinar. And yes, so, you know, when Jenny says planning is essential, and then I tell you this story, I don't want the takeaway for you to be, oh, I'm going to do it Alyson's way, because the fact is, behind this was combined decades of experience, an audience that was built, an offer that already had value, knowledge. We had everything we needed to make it happen quickly. And yep. But that's a quick win, because the offer was already there, because the tech was already set up, because the experience was already done, because it was already done, and we already had built that relationship with our people. We were able to make that happen quickly. So,
and that's like, Alyson, that's like a real testament to the fact of building a engaged email list.
Yeah.
In my personal opinion,
building that relationship.
Absolutely. If you build up the relationships, you build up the engagement, you build up your email list, you get all of that, it's easier to create fast cash. If you have no email list, no following, nobody following you on social, and no engagement that you've never created before, fast cash is going to be practically impossible, right? So that's where those years of planning, or years of work, years of all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't hurt that Alyson's an amazing copywriter and I am a pretty good funnel maker.
Amazing.
And that we were right. And then we're pretty
amazing.
Okay. And we can bring these things together really well. If you are somebody that doesn't have that experience or that understanding, you don't have a copywriter who can, write an opt-in page with their thumbs, or funnel builder who can put together a page in no time flat. You need to have people that you can rely on to do that. But your special skill is going to be something different. Your special skill is going to be the way that you can convey the offer, or your special skill is going to be the way that you're able to get people rallied around your thing. And you have to have people that you can rely on that can do those other things like the copywriting and the page building. But it doesn't mean you can't have the fast cash. It just means you have to plan and have the other networks worked out ahead of time.
Yeah.
I really love that story that you both shared, and the best part about it is that, well, we got there, but to get there, it required years of work, right? And building the right system to then do the webinar, to then even just get people on the phone and then close the sales and then deliver something that's going to be valuable to them. Where I'm seeing a lot of businesses being challenged right now is, businesses that do really well on the marketing front, and maybe they used to, they put budget into running ads, or they're, they're speaking in front of, or they've done a, what do you call, like a virtual summit kind of arrangement, and they get in front of a large audience, which is the target market. But then they flounder when it comes to delivery, because they don't actually have, whether they're maxed out, they don't have the capability, they don't have the team to actually support the delivery. And then they wonder, why is it not working? Because I can sell well, but and I think there's a shift happening in the market, and you probably observed too, particularly through the pandemic, whereas people want delivery, they want, right, like that's more valuable. And I've even seen like the gurus start to shift their messaging around this, where they're saying, you actually have to have a product or a service that works, because if you don't have that, and you have, you follow all the other things that we've been teaching you for the last 10 years, you're going to be in trouble. So I'd like to sort of extend that thought into your question here for both of you, which is around, you mentioned the sales funnel. How do you marry sales funnel, or the idea of a sales funnel, with delivery and authenticity? Because sometimes sales funnels can feel very, very inauthentic. They can feel like I'm getting these automated messages like, I've got 10 spots available if you don't buy now. All these things are going on, or these things that are just not, they're just icky, and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to deal with you. because just I've been pushed through so many, like, I don't want to join your email list. I'm subscribed to 20,000 email lists already, and I don't want to be in your newsletter. So what's your take on that, and what would you recommend to someone listening to this in 2022 looking forward?
Yeah, and so it's funny because I started writing copy, I mean, way back in the day. I wrote for Dan Kennedy, and you want to talk about hard-hitting direct response, like, that's where I started writing, and I have really grown into a more authentic way of writing. And it starts all the way back with the strategy. What is the voice that you use with your audience? My job as a copywriter is to mimic that. I don't want them to feel like somebody else wrote it. And instead of, the overhyped, lots of exclamation points, the big promises that just, that's not going to, right? Lose 20 million pounds in a minute and a half. Like, that's no, it's not going to happen. And obviously I was exaggerating there, but it's really about connecting with your people on that emotional level and helping them work through the emotional and logical points that they need to take. It's all audience focused. And back in the internet heyday, it was, hey, I have an offer, and cash would roll in. You didn't have to do much work. Now you have to put in the work. You have to know your people. And what's more is you have to know your offer. You have to, and like you were saying, it's got to be good. You've got to believe in it so that you can talk about it the right way. I don't take clients who have an offer that I don't believe in, by the way, because I can't write effectively if I think it's a load of bull hockey. Just trying not to cuss here on the live stream, but it's so the whole goal with your copy is to take them through that journey, connect with them, help them imagine a better future after they have purchased the solution that is going to work for them. And then, where Jenny is amazing is she then takes that copy and she gets it in a Facebook message sometimes, and then she translates it into a way that just visually you keep them engaged. So it's not just about the words, it's the visual engagement as well. The right breaks on the eyes, the right size, the right images to support the colors, all of that didn't used to matter. And now it matters. Now it matters.
I'd love to hear from Jenny just your perspective on that, because if you're controlling the visual elements and you're doing the design work and those sort of things, why do you feel that's changed in the last few years, and why is it so important now?
I think people have become very discerning, like I was saying before, where before, when the internet was brand spanking new, and I mean, I had a web page way back in the day. I'm talking like the mid 90s, and it had like the flashy stuff and everything, because that's what the thing was. As we've aged and we have a new generation that's literally been born with the internet being here, and they're a lot more discerning. They've been bombarded, like I said, with so much that it's just something they've had to they've been enmeshed in, right? And everybody has been scammed or swindled. Everybody's seen something that is spooky, slightly weird, too good to be true. Like I've been taken, even in my first year of business, I got taken for a ride. That's stuff that happens, and you have to be so much more. You have to also be so much more pleasing to the eye. There's so much research that's also been done into how people respond to a page, that have what brings the eye down the page, what is pleasing, what is engaging, things like that. And also, we have to make sure that we're injecting, because people have been swindled, et cetera, we have to inject into these pages so much more about the trust building. And that has to happen really high up on the page. Whereas before it was, hey, I've got this offer. It's really, really great. It's only $47. I know you're going to want to get it. So, just click this button and get it. Now we have to go with the promise of what we're doing. And then we have to create connection copy, which Alyson's amazing at creating, where people are like, yes. Like you have to get people doing those micro yeses on pages. And also, the last thing is that it has to lead them on a journey where they go, oh, yeah, that's me. Oh gosh, this sucks. This is really crappy. I'm experiencing this problem. And okay, yeah, I get why they're talking about it. Yeah, that feels about right. And then, okay, they have a personal story that connects to the thing that I've struggled with because they've either been there, done that, or they've been able to teach other people how not to have that happen. And it creates a lot of trust. You have to build so much trust now in a landing page. When Alyson and I first started talking and being friends and doing all this kind of stuff together, it was okay for a summit landing page. I kid you not. And I build summits for pretty much a living. I've done like 350 of them. You could do, I kid you not, pick like a banner, a video, an opt-in box, and that's it. Like register today, and that was it for the summit. No speakers, no connection copy, no video, like nothing. None of that stuff existed. It was a banner, video, and an opt-in box. And guess what? You would get 5,000 people to register for that summit. Holy crap! Like those were the heydays. And now your opt-in page for Summit resembles a sales page. The copy is 6 times longer than it used to be, and it has 10 more elements than it ever had. Because we have to build that connection, trust, understanding, oh my gosh, yes, please, all into a short thing.
Even just
Now, as you both, absolutely. Now, as you both know, having spoken to me before, I'm the case study guy. I'm all about the social proof. So that you're like singing music in my ears here, Jenny. Let's talk a little bit about funnels. Do you need to have a super huge, complicated funnel? You talked about the landing page, but let's go beyond the landing page for it to be successful. If you're going to sell a product or a service or launch one, right? What are the kind of the key elements to making that funnel actually work?
The key elements to making a funnel work are not as difficult as people think. It has to, like I was just saying, it has to have connection copy and things like that. But in the mechanics of the funnel, we have to have a landing page that does its job. And my goal and Alyson's goal, whenever we work together, we're like, industry standard, 35% opt-in rate. No, thanks. We want 80%. And we will like aim for that. But in the mechanics of it, a good landing page, a good confirmation page that tells them exactly when they're going to receive the thing that they opted in for or purchased, how they're going to receive it, that takes away the buyer's remorse or the registration remorse of I just registered for this thing and then my experience was crap. So you don't have to have complication, but you have to have simplicity and deliverability, right? So it has to look good on a mobile phone because 75 to 85% of our audiences are looking at these things on mobile, right? It has to tell them exactly what they're going to get and how they're going to receive it so that they have no worries along the way. So you can have an opt-in page, a confirmation page, and a confirmation email, and you can be 100% golden, no problems. However, if you want to add a couple of little things, you can, and it elevates the experience. For example, you can have an opt-in page to a summit, okay? And on the landing page, on the confirmation page, you can say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. You're in the right place. By the way, if you want to, you can grab this awesome little VIP bundle that we've put together that will help you enjoy this experience even more. It's only $47. Click here and grab it. And on that little form where they can buy it, which is now another page in the funnel, you can say, while you're doing this, before you go, there's something else that's very complimentary. And it makes sense. If you'd like it, it's only $27. If you'd like it now, great. And if you don't, no worries. We don't care. No problem. Up to you. And that can increase your per lead value or your per purchase value simply by doing something simple. And again, it's not overcomplicating it, but it makes sense in the place that it's put. Does that, Alyson, what would you have to add to that maybe?
Yeah. And I think what happens is, we see these funnels that are like, they're so cool. Oh my gosh, I went to this and I did that. And they upsold me this and I said no, but then I got this offer and I did this. And stop doing all that. All right. Start with your landing page. Send your landing page to a confirmation page. Get them in a Facebook group. Do something. Right. But start there. And then once you've got that dialed in, cool. Now let's try adding a sales page on the end of that. All right. We're getting some good results there. Cool. Now I'm going to add that order bump, which is what Jenny was talking about, is that little checkbox on the order form. All right. Now I'm building it out as I'm going, rather than either overcomplicating the heck out of it, risking something breaking and overwhelming the heck out of myself, or making it so complex of a map that it's too much to even get started on and I just don't do anything. Those are the other options. I'd rather you have a landing page with a confirmation page and start building your email list than not do anything or do something poorly. And to be clear, I'd rather you do it poorly than not do it at all. Okay. So, what Jenny said with the mechanics, it's more important that what you have connects with your ideal person than its spinny, shiny, upsell, downsell, crazy funnel map. More important that it works. And Jenny and I we like to play. Like she says, oh yeah, we strive for 80. No, we hit 80. We hit 86.24 for one of our clients recently, opt-in rate for their summit.
Absolutely. And they made over $20,000 on a VIP package with a take rate that was insane. And we even had a bump, and the bump was they were taking that at 75%. So it's all about having the right offer at the right spot in the journey that these people are experiencing, so that it makes sense, right? And if it's too complicated, like Alyson was saying, I'd rather people make an ugly funnel than no funnel at all. You can at least start with something, and then you can optimize it as you go. Completely agree with Alyson, 100%.
But this client, they wanted a downsell and an upsell, and we told them no, it's too much. So we pulled them back and got them successful where they were.
Yeah, like I'm just putting myself in the mind of the client. If I told you that and you changed the result or helped me get that result, I'm like, that's pretty damn good. Forget the downsell.
Exactly.
I saw your comment in the chat there. Who was that? That was Jenny, talking about starting off with a simple funnel, and I loved how you just broke that down and just said, okay, well, Alyson, you were talking about just stepping through each stage of the funnel, because I think I've been there before, where it's like, oh, let's just lay out the 20-step plan here and let's build all these different pages and things, and then I go, oh my gosh, this isn't happening, and it just doesn't happen. And so I can totally relate to just, hey, let's do the simple landing page, let's do the simple opt-in form, and then we'll get someone on a list, and then we'll step through the process. What's the difference between a sales funnel and a launch? Because I think that sometimes those two things get confused for one thing.
I was going to let Jenny take it because it's funny. She is actually, she has an event coming up all about launches. So I was like, maybe Jenny should just take this. So your sales funnel is oftentimes your more evergreen thing. All right. So a funnel can be part of a launch, but a launch is not usually part of a funnel. It's like those circles, where one is fully inside the other, or whatever, Venn diagram. So you may find that you require a sales funnel during your launch when you are releasing a new program, product, course, membership, service, whatever. When you are re-releasing, you're reopening the doors. There are a couple of big name marketers that do this frequently with their yearly programs or things like that. They open the doors. They have a launch event for that month that the doors are open. If you are rebranding, if you're doing something, you're hosting an event like a summit, a list build. If you're doing that and not talking to Jenny, just don't do that. But so that's what your launch is. And then your funnel is the supporting technology, pages, conversion tools that get people through that launch. Let's say you're hosting a webinar in order to book sales calls, in order to sell spots in your course. You would have a webinar funnel, opt-in page, confirmation, any kind of upgrade. I don't know that VIP is a thing for a webinar, but all of that stuff. And then you would have your email automation that's part of that, to the reminder, the confirmation, the replay, all those sequences. That's your funnel. But your launch is bigger than that. That is your social promotion, your webinar itself, your sales calls, the whatever. So they work in tandem together, but you also don't have to launch to have the funnel. You can just make a PDF download that you talk about on podcasts and have a funnel for that.
Jenny Jenny just made an interesting face. I'm wondering if there was a comment behind that.
No, I agree with Alyson completely. I made a face because I hate PDF downloads. So, and the reason I don't like them, and I mean, they're great. They're wonderful for getting
awesome.
Yours is awesome, Alyson. Here's why I have a little bit of an opinion about them. PDFs as a download are great. Everybody has them. What do people do with them? They download them and they stick them on their desktops. And unless they're Alyson's lead magnet PDF download, which is awesome, nobody uses them. I have multiples sitting on my desktop right now because I've downloaded them. I wanted to check them out, but I haven't really done anything with them. So my question when my face when Alyson was talking about that wasn't that I don't love them. It's that you can up level them with, if you just have to get a PDF out there, a lead magnet out there, go ahead and do it. But if you can take it to the next level, then I'm going to encourage you to do that with a video, right? So a 5-minute video of you going, hey, I'm so glad you're here. And, I just wanted to run you through how to use this PDF download that's really going to help you achieve A, B, C, and X, Y, Z. And if there's anything I can do to support you, just, email me at jenny@jennywright.com or find me here, or blah, blah, blah. Like that little extra piece can elevate it and create more know, like, and trust, which is what we're trying to build. And it's very hard to build trust on a PDF. But if it's your only method of creating a lead magnet at the moment, great, I love you for it. But look at the ways once you get it out that you can create that elevation, if at all possible. That's always what I'm going to encourage people. That's why I was like making a face. Sorry.
No need to apologize. I'm with you. Yeah.
I have no poker face. Alyson knows this. I have zero poker face. If I'm
her poker face just has no chill.
I have no chill whatsoever. None. And if you're watching this on video, I am sorry. So yeah.
No need. I think you've given some. Look, I'm with you. I'm over the PDF unless it's really super good. And now the bar has been raised, right? So let's look at Alyson's PDF, and then we all know how to the starting point. We started talking about list building. So I'm curious about people who already have maybe they've built a large list over the years. Maybe they've had their businesses have changed over time, and therefore they've still got like 200 people from a previous business and another 400 people from the next business or the next project. What can someone in that situation where they've got I'll call it large, but large can be 10,000. It just depends on what your specific perspective is here. But why do some business owners struggle to generate leads from their email list? And I'm going to say excuse the noise from the cleaner pushing the finger. But the question is, so why do some people, or a lot of people, myself included, struggle to generate leads from the list? And you talked about having automated sequences, sort of a extension of that question would be, how do we do automation in a way that you don't sound like a robot and you're always pushing a sale?
Okay, so we've got two questions there. One, how do we engage with our lists, make sure that they're the right people, all that kind of stuff. And then the other one being, how do we create automations that sound authentic and actually help us versus work against us, right? Okay, so I'm going to take the first question. I'm going to give Alyson the second one because it's more up her alley in terms of how to do that. So we're good. This is how we do things. All right. So with the list building side of things, Alyson and I just experienced this with a client. The client had a list that exceeded 40,000 people. It was built over the years from various different things. It had never been marketed to. There was a bunch of areas where that traffic had come in. And what we found is that when that email list was now starting to be marketed to, that it was incredibly unresponsive. And two, a lot of people were like, I don't even know where I came in anymore. I'm not really interested in what you're doing. So in the end, the recommendation was to cull that list. And they recently went from 40,000 down to about 13,000. Okay. And that was through a process of, are they engaged or are they not engaged? Are they opening my emails? Are they not opening my emails? And that went on for about 3 months until we were able to determine this many people, was it 25 or whatever thousand are not opening the emails therefore. So the simple way to do this when we're building our lists and we have multiple traffic sources is to create that segmentation. And Alyson can talk about the authenticity and the descriptor of it later, but the segmentation of it, right? So you're saying, okay, Alyson's list, this came through this amazing PDF on headlines. This came through her other amazing PDF with a little video, because I had her create one, that comes to, that is, about sales pages, as an example. Both of those audiences are both interested in copy, coming from different things, headlines and sales pages. You can then create segmented content that both of those people like. At some point, people are going to tune out from you. It's natural and normal. Making sure that you have an unsubscribe button that is easily found. Alyson and I have a hack for that. Instead of burying the unsubscribe button at the bottom of your emails, we actually put it right at the top. Hey, you found us, or you're getting this email from Alyson Lex because you either subscribe to X or Y. And if that's not what you're here for anymore, that's okay. Here's the unsubscribe button. It's literally above any of the other copy. It's up there. And it helps actually keep our unsubscribe rates really, really low, because people are like, oh, that's right. I came in on the headline thing. Now she's talking about sales copy. I'm kind of interested in that too, so I'm going to stick around. Or I came in for the headline thing. I'm not really interested in this part, unsubscribe. But it keeps the unsubscribe rates low because it reminds people why they're there. So I think there's many ways of doing this. One is, again, never buy an email list. Ever, 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 ever. Never buy an email list. It is the worst thing you can do. Secondly, if you've created a pivot in your business and you've changed from health coach to love coach, reach out to your health coach list and say, hey, I've changed, I've pivoted. But if you'd like to continue this journey with me, I'm going to be talking about the following topics. And if you're in for it, awesome. And if you're not, here's a button and to unsubscribe, and I wish you well. Or the other way around, if you want to stay for the love coaching, click this button, it'll add a tag to you. And if not, I'll remove you from my list. Many ways to do it. But those are the easiest things I can think of. And then I'm going to hand it over to Alyson for the other part.
Okay, so I'm going to be a total ADHD moment right now and ask you to repeat that question, because I was so into what Jenny was saying, I forgot it.
Well, Ant, you got it, or you want me?
Yeah, well, all good, Alison. Basically, the question is, to carry on from what Jenny's saying in terms of segmenting the list. Now, how do we, if we're going to use automation, right? How do we ensure the automation is actually human and actually, gets the right engagement and also leads people to a sale when it's appropriate,
Yeah.
right? So how do we do that? Because I'm sure you have, I've subscribed to something and I'm getting these automations, and it's like sometimes it actually, for whatever reason, they're doing the automated tag where it's supposed to put your name in there, but it doesn't put your name in there, and you can actually see the code. And so how do we do that in a way that's authentic and actually, furthers the goal, whatever that might be for your business?
So the way that I do it is I call it my handy dandy magic system, right? Hey, Alyson here, my handy dandy magic system sent you this email, or whatever I say, right? Tell them it's an automation. Who cares? Do they need to think that you're sending them an email at 3:06 in the morning, their time, because you were just so excited to get there? No. Hey, the magic of technology has gotten this to you on demand. Isn't that cool? Here's what I want you to do. I really want to get to know you. So just go ahead, hit the reply button. Let me know what you think of this PDF download, Jenny. And I'm going to be so excited to wake up to your email in the morning. That's real. In fact, I want to go back and grab that copy that I just spewed and actually use it in my automations, because it was some good stuff, right? But just be a real person. Just be you. And this is what I tell people with copy. And this is every kind of copy: social posts, videos, emails, sales pages, whatever. Just be yourself. However you would say it out loud, type it. If you have to speak it and transcribe it, do that. Whatever you have to do to just put your personality, you made me beg, put your personality on the screen, on the words, like put it in there, and that will really just, sorry, they're chatting with me in telling me that my picture's so big and I don't know what to do with myself, but just, it doesn't have to be this big hidden magic secret that you're sending an automation, that you're using technology to communicate one to many. But if you invite the one to one, if you show them that you want the relationship, and you're not fake about it. And I mean, Jenny, you mentioned it. How many of those, it's late and I've been up thinking, no, you haven't. Right? You're not, yeah.
You
Okay.
totally haven't. It's so and also the ones like this is the other thing, the our call or
I
our
hate
meeting.
those. I
Oh my
hate
God.
those.
Oh
Don't do
man,
those.
yeah. I got one
Like,
of those
those are
recently.
just,
Right.
yep.
Now,
I mean,
look,
the whole point is they're going to make you open, and they do make you open, but then you're like, really, you got me. I'm never listening to you again. Like it's literally the hand in the face. Like, nope, we're done.
You got me. Now, don't get me wrong. I do love me a good, subject line. I think one of my favorites that I've used, I swiped from a friend of mine way back in the day. It was, "Can I pay you?" And it's to introduce a referral program.
Oh, that one,
Well, yeah.
one, by the way, works. Chef's kiss on that one.
Right?
Trust
Like,
me.
"Can I pay you? Can we talk?" That real language. And, I'm not big on HTML heavy emails. We don't need the pretty banners on the side, but throw a GIF in there. If you talk in GIFs like I do, throw a couple GIFs in there. You can make GIFs of yourself, by the way. That's super fun, right? Like, just have fun with it, and don't. Yeah, I'm gonna step off my soapbox now because I could just keep talking for hours.
How do you, random question, but how do you create a GIF of yourself?
Okay, so the way that I do it is I send a 20-second video to Jenny on Facebook Messenger chat. Then I download it to my computer and I go to giphy.com, GIPHY.com, upload it, create a GIF.
So simple. Okay.
And then you can download it from there to your computer and you're done. Yep.
Very, very cool. Okay, we're going to wrap up. I've been loving what you've both been sharing. We could go a million different directions with this, but I want to respect your time. And I'm just going to wrap up with a couple of questions here. First one is, now you've both hit just over 150 podcast episodes published with System to Thrive. So what have you both learned from the process and the journey, and what keeps you going?
I'll go first. I have learned to work better with my friend. Building this out together was a big deal. And to take a friendship that was totally great and then add a business component could have caused a split. It could have caused problems. But we found a way to talk things through and be very open with our communication. It has taught me to be a better communicator. I think System to Thrive has been therapy for me to evolve a communication style. It's also helped me be a better speaker and a better listener and a better interviewer and all these types of things. But working with your best friend is probably one of the best things you could ever do, especially if you can manage to still be best friends 3 years later and want to continue to do this. But it's also taught me resiliency. The pandemic was absolutely horrific for a lot of people. It was a massive crush for me, depression-wise, etc. But being able to be supported by and support somebody else through it made it worthwhile.
For sure. Yes, communication. It's taught me to work better with my friend. And it's funny, lately, Jenny and I have discovered that we get to be a little selfish with our podcast and ask the questions that we want to know and get information that we wish we had either now or X number of years ago when we were starting out. And so it's really opened up a lot of ideas about different things that we can do for our businesses or our clients, or fun things to think about. And with every expert that we have on, I get to learn something new. And when it's just Jenny and I get to, we get to share what we know, soapbox a little bit, and have a good time. And we always end up with a lot of fun bloopers.
I want to hear or see that blooper reel, because I think that would be incredible. Thank thank you both for joining us today. I'm going to finalize this episode with one question here. And it's actually the question that's become the question that our listeners want to hear. And it's, what's one practice, activity, resource that you lean on for your own mental health?
I'm going to get
I
Alyson
have
to go
weekly
first on that one.
therapy.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm in therapy. Like I love therapy. My therapist is, my shoulder to cry on, my life coach, she helps me handle my ADHD, my depression, all of that. I'm very open about my mental health journey, because as entrepreneurs, we're not immune and we're not alone. So if you have access to help, can afford help, and it's available to you, get yourself into some therapy. If it's not the right fit with the first person, go to another one. It's because once you find the right person, it is a game changer.
For me, one is self-care. I'm one of those people who will sit at my desk and not move for 12 hours and then realize that I haven't eaten or done anything else because I prioritize the work before myself. So the best thing that I have done is I go for walks. Alyson knows that I need walkies. I'm pretty much like a trained terrier. I have to go for walkies because if I don't get them, I'm getting pretty antsy. So going for a walk, getting out in nature, honestly, quite like sleep is one of the best things that I've prioritized. I swear when you hit your 40s, it is like sleep is now the new thing. It's better than the other S word over any, like I prefer sleep. Sleep is great. I love sleep. So sleep makes you, everybody's laughing at me.
I was muted and she was on the screen and nobody could see the reaction.
I know. It's okay. I knew you were reacting. I did it for reaction. No, sleep is amazing. And like, that is a huge thing for my mental health. As I've gotten into my 40s, if I don't get enough sleep, you don't want to be around me. I'm not a happy camper. So walkies, sleep, and just as much self-care as I can possibly get. So if that means I go get my nails done once a month, I do it. And then I get to hang out with my best friend. So yeah, I'm good.
Amazing. And just for those listeners who are wondering what the other S is, I'm pretty sure it's Sudoku. So that's what Jenny was referring to.
Absolutely. I'm a killer at Sudoku. Anybody wants to do that with me, no problem. I got you.
There you have it. All right. So Jenny Wright, Alyson Lex, systemtothrive.com. I thank you both for joining me for a fun, it's almost an hour now, but I just love your energy and what you bring to the table and how you do what you do. So for Authentic Influence, and we'll check you out on your podcast. We'll put all the show notes and links and everything in there. And for all you subscribers and listeners, we'll see you again on the next episode. Thanks, everyone. Bye.